Hi everyone, welcome to this channel. I'm Rosa and I try all of the makeup so that you don't have to. We're getting a little bougie today. We're having a look at the DIOR Backstage Face and Body Foundation. This one has just launched at Sephora. It is in store now. So standard foundations come in a 30ml bottle. This one actually comes in a 50ml bottle and its recommended retail price is $70 in Australia. The foundation comes in 40 shades, so there's sure to be something there for most skin tones. There are very, very light shades and there are very, very deep shades. I'm obviously already wearing the foundation and the color match is okay, it's not perfect for me. The DIOR Backstage range is different to the regular DIOR makeup that you would find in department stores. So while DIOR is that real luxury high-end brand, the DIOR Backstage is supposed to be for at-home artists to get a really professional looking finish, but at home. But yeah, let's get to applying the foundation. So I'm sort of cheating today because I don't have the bottle to show you. I actually went and picked up a sample of the product. I went and got color matched and decided to give it a try. I didn't really want to invest all that money into a product when I have so much product here that I have to get through. Having said that, I kind of want to try it out, and if I love it, then it's something that I'm going to purchase. So I did get color matched in the shade 2.5N, but having a look at it now, it looks like it's going to be far too dark. Luckily, I'm doing this test at home today. I've got so much to do here today, and I'm going to be outside and I'm going to be hanging out, washing and doing all those fun things, which is cool because this is supposed to be waterproof and sweat resistant, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Now, the interesting thing about this foundation is that it is supposed to be a very natural coverage. So what DIOR actually recommends is if you do want light nude coverage, then you just go ahead and dot some of this on your face and rub it in with your fingers. If you want a medium kind of coverage, you use 2 layers using a brush, and if you would like more full coverage foundation, then you use 3 layers. I have moisturized and I'm going to go ahead and use my favorite primer of the moment, which is the Smashbox Primerizer. I'm not sure if there is a primer in this range. I didn't see one. Now, instructions do recommend the type of brush that you're supposed to use, and I'm not going to go out and buy a special brush for a foundation. That's just me. I typically use a beauty blender for my foundation, so I'm going to do that on one side of my face, and on the other side I'm going to use a foundation buffing brush to see how that goes. Alright, I can tell this is so dark. Actually, you know, it is too dark. Alright, so I'm just going to apply some dots on one side, actually on both sides. I figure if you are going to use 3 layers of this, then you are going to go through the 50 mils quite quickly, aren't you? Okay, I'm going to stipple that in. It is so dark for me. I'm not sure if you can see it. Alright, now with this one layer, the colour looks okay because there's not too much coverage. It is very, very light coverage. Alright, so that's layer 1. Definitely not enough coverage for me. I like a little bit more than this. Let's go for our second layer. Alright, layer number 2. So one would assume that if they are telling you to layer this product, then it will be buildable. And yeah, we are definitely seeing more coverage here. But as I said, because the colour is wrong, we have more coverage and I'm looking a little bit orange. Oh, dark hair problems. Do you ever get foundation in your hair? Alright, I like the way that this is blending in both with the brush and with the beauty blender. The beauty blender is giving me a lot more of a luminous look. Okay, so for your information, I'm on the other side of 35. I have what could be best described as combination skin, so I have a oily T-zone and drier outer face. I also have very dehydrated skin. It is the middle of winter here in Sydney, and even though it's not a harsh winter, things like air conditioning and wind and just the cold really tends to dehydrate my skin a lot. That looks so nice. I'm really liking the way this looks on my skin. Should we go for a 3rd layer? I'm going to stop at 2. It really has disappeared completely into the skin. I'll show you, while I'm outside, I'll show you what it looks like on my skin. It just looks so like my skin, but better. Alright, I'll be back in a second when I've done all my makeup. Okay, I have gone ahead and I've powdered minimally, put a little bit of blush, tiny little bit of bronzer and some brows on, as well as a little bit of mascara. I really have put on minimum makeup and my skin looks really good. I'm really happy with how nice it looks. I didn't use anything that was pore minimizing underneath, although my pores are looking a little bit less visible. There's just a general kind of, I've used just the slightest amount of highlighter, but there's just a general glow about my skin, which I'm really happy about. As I said, this is 2 layers and it does promise to have a little bit more coverage if you use 3 layers. But I don't feel like I use a lot of product. So it's just before midday. I've got a very exciting day, rest of the day planned, a whole bunch of housework. There's about 3 loads of washing to do. I'll be hanging those out, so I'll be getting nice and sweaty. I'll take you outside so we can have a look at what my skin looks like. But before I do that, I'm going to just set it all with this YSL mist. And that is that, and I will be back with you shortly. All right, we're currently outside. We're not in direct sunlight. I'll take you over there in a second. But I just want you to see what the foundation looks like on my skin. It's been on for roughly 1 hour, and I just feel like it has melded into the skin really well. It's not, it doesn't seem to be like just sitting on top of the skin. I feel like I needed to do a little bit more blending there. I've missed those spots. That's my fault. I'm just about to head into the other room and give my final kind of verdict about the foundation. I wanted to give you a look at the foundation in this light here so that you can see the kind of coverage that we've ended up with. When I was in front of the window when I was originally filming, I was really happy with the coverage, but it wasn't until I went outside that I saw how sheer the coverage actually was, and I could see so much of my skin was poking through, which is absolutely fine if that's what you're into. But now that we're in sort of artificial light again, it looks great again. So it's really one of those foundations that can play trickery on you, I think. In this light here, I think it looks lovely. My skin looks mattified, but not overly matte. We'll talk about the finish a little bit later. Whereas when I was outside, the foundation was almost non-existent, and you could kind of see, the only places you could see the foundation is where it wasn't blended in properly. And of course you saw in direct light or direct sunlight, it was so apparent that the color was wrong. Let's head into the beauty room and I'll give you my final verdict. Okay, so it is about 10 o'clock, it's like 9:59, and I think I've come up with my conclusion, and I think it's going to be an unpopular one, and I think I can firmly say I don't know. Here are some of the things that I really liked about this foundation. The first thing is it's extremely light, and I don't just mean that in terms of how much coverage it gave, I meant in terms of the feel. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing any makeup at all, not just like feeling my face, but touching my face. It feels like there's nothing there. There's a slight powdery feel, but it's incredible. So if you're someone that hates the feeling of having makeup on their face, then you will love this. What I really loved about this was the finish as well. It's not super matte, it's not super dewy. It's kind of this really natural look, and I really do feel that in artificial light, my skin looks exactly like my skin, but just better. I feel like this foundation would be great for those people who love light coverage, who are into that whole no makeup, and someone who really wants their skin to show through and their skin to breathe. But for me, however, I didn't like the way it looked out in natural light. And that says more about me and how I want my skin to look rather than the performance of the foundation, I think. When I had that direct sunlight on me, you could see every bit of hyperpigmentation. You could still see my dark under eyes even though I put concealer on. It just wasn't enough for me. I was surprised that even though I was doing a lot of activity today, there didn't seem to be any oil showing through. I've got a blotting paper here, and I'm gonna press that really hard into my nose. And oh, it doesn't look like there's much oil showing through at all, but a little bit of foundation has transferred off. The foundation has completely disappeared from my nose. That happens a lot to me simply because I tend to, particularly if I'm working on the computer, I tend to rest my hand on my face here and I will rub off foundation basically there. The foundation has settled a little bit in the lines next to my eyes, but everywhere else it still looks really good. There's a little bit of dryness on the side of my nose as well, but again, if you've watched my other foundation reviews, that happens for me. I have to say my pores still look minimized. Again, looking at it here, it looks great, but it was only in that natural direct light. I feel like this would be the situation where wearing this foundation, I would be in that scenario where I sit down at my vanity to do my makeup. And just to be clear, the first part of the video when I was applying foundation or applying all my makeup, that was natural light. I'm just sitting in front of a window. But that diffused kind of light made my skin look great, and I would be like, yep, I'm cool, I'm ready to leave the house. I'd get in the car, check myself out in that flip down mirror and just go, oh my God. I'm really glad I tested this out because I was so curious about it, and I did actually visit Sephora and picked it up with the intention of buying it to review. I think I'm going to give this one a miss. I'm bummed because I really wanted to like it, but yeah, I think I'm going to give this one a miss. I'm still excited about the DIOR Backstage brand though, however, because I've got this to play with. This is a product which has received some mixed reviews, but I'm really interested in trying this out for myself. Anyway, I hope you found this video informative. I really hope you decide to stick around and watch some other videos and subscribe. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and as usual, thank you so much for coming and spending a little bit of time with me in my little corner of the internet. Bye.